Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Amplified Podcasters Academy roadmap to launch your podcast. So what we're doing is we're going to do a video training, but we're also going to put the podcast roadmap along with the checklist down in the description for resource purposes only. We want to walk you through exactly how you are to launch your podcast. All right. So I know a lot of people want to launch one and want to get started, but there's specific ways that you need to go about doing it. And by you going about doing it a certain way, it'll help increase your not only your productivity, but it'll help increase your longevity as you start to grow your podcast. Now, for those who don't know, my name is Anthony Porter. I am the creator of the Amplified Podcast Academy community here on Skool. And in this video, we're going to walk you through the exact roadmap I use and teach to launch a podcast that attracts your dream clients, builds your personal brand, and also helps you build a six-figure one-person business. Now, this isn't just about throwing up a bunch of few episodes and hoping that the shit works, because that's not what we do. This is about launching with clarity. This is about a strategy, and this is about a purpose. Now, if you're with that, let's get started. So one of the main things that you need to do when it comes to podcasting, you need to set some goals. So that's step number one, set some goals. Ask yourself, why are you starting a podcast? That's about as blunt as it's going to get. Why are you starting a podcast? See, your podcast isn't just a content channel. It's a conversation engine, meaning that we're going to talk back and forth. So you remember, your podcast is a conversation engine. Your goal might be to grow a personal brand, or drive traffic to an offer, or generate, clients passively. Make sure you are crystal clear from day one on what it is and why you are, starting your podcast. That's one. So examples that you need to think about when jumping into a podcast is this: build authority. You want to build authority. You want to drive leads and traffic. Repurpose content across other platforms. Now, that right there is very specific, because when you're repurposing content, you're building a trust factor. By building this trust factor, everything should work out for you. All right. And then last but not least, you want to attract collaborators, clients, and sponsorships. This is where you're going to get into your monetization. That's where we as a group seem to be stuck at. We want to monetize before we even make sure everything is set up properly. All right. So now, section number 2 is point number 2 with the launch is this: define your niche. When you are podcasting, you need to define who it is or where you at. So when you're defining your niche, your podcast needs a home, and your niche is exactly what that is. It's your home. So let's say you help solopreneurs grow a one-person business using a podcast. Sounds like somebody I know. That's me. That's not just the niche. That's a movement. You have to understand, I'm not just building a niche. I'm building a movement, because I want every business needs a podcast. Every single business out here needs a podcast. And with every business needing a podcast, it helps you get more eyes organically and evergreen to your offer on your business just off the jump. And you have to think, when you are speaking, you are literally putting it out there for others outside of the normal that you are used to seeing. You're putting it out there for others to literally find out who you are and where you are. Now, get clear on 3 to 5 core topics. You want to make sure you got 3 to 5 core topics that you can cover, and what transformation your listeners gets by tuning into you every week. So for me, like, one of my core topics is, we not only help you start, grow, and monetize, but what we do is we help you through these certain channels like YouTube and Instagram. Podcasting has an avenue of audio, but now that the video is into play, you want to make sure that you cover every aspect of what you're getting yourself into. All right. So one of my core topics again is we talk about how to monetize a podcast. We want to teach you how to monetize before you even get a sponsorship. And we get into that. It's so simple. When I first figured it out, when I first learned and figured out how to really do it, I was like, this it? This all we doing? This everything we doing? So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you get into that situation, and we're going to teach you. Make sure you got 3 to 5 core topics that you can discuss. Not that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to stick with those topics. What that means is these are the 3 to 5 core topics that you can cover throughout the entire time you are podcasting. And trust me, podcasting is a business. It's not a hobby anymore. Mostly, if you turn on your news stations, your local news, all your local news stations have a break off podcast to where they can discuss something that interests them. And when they start discussing things that interest them, it draws more eyes into their world. It puts them out into a world that you wouldn't believe that's out there, man. I truly believe that you wouldn't believe that things like this could happen. All right, now, section number 3. You got to find your dream listeners. Now, what does that mean? It's who are you talking to? That's your dream listeners. Who are you talking to? So you got to think about that. Define your dream listeners by profile. All right. Picture them and speak to them. Listen, one thing you have to understand is this. When you are trying to figure out who you are dealing with, you need to make sure that you're practicing. All right. Your family might think you crazy, that you're talking to yourself, but at the end of the day, guess what? Practice on defining and getting accustomed to speaking to your dream listener. Now, example of finding out who your dream listener is, we use demographics. So 25 to 45 is roughly about the average age range, male to female. So it's unisex because you have a lot of males, a lot of females who want to start a podcast. They coaches, they creators, they tech curious, they're overwhelmed. They want to build a 6-figure lifestyle. These are listen, it's like stalking, but legally. Most people don't understand that you're diving deep. You're creating a persona. You're creating an image. You're creating it's not a mythical character, but you're creating someone who needs to be seen in the eyes of you. Not me, but you. And what it is you're targeting these specific individuals. And once you start understanding their pain points, speaking their language, just show up every week for them. Once you get them in, just start showing up, man. Have a weekly event where you speak to them and help them without charging them. That's what you got to do. You help them without charging them. All right, now. Number 4, we want to talk about your big podcast idea. This is where most people miss their mark. It's crazy, but it's true. In the beginning, I missed my mark on this. It took me a while, took a couple of people to really break it down to me on what my mark was. Your podcast isn't just about tips and tactics. It's a movement, it's a message, it's a mission. You want to be able to say, hey, solopreneurs, the blueprint for turning your podcast into a profitable one-person business, that's a transformation. You want to move from hobbyist to entrepreneur. You want to move from hobbyist to solopreneur. You want to go from not making no bread to making bread. And to get to a lifestyle that you want to build, you need to have more than one stream of income. And so this is just a part of it. Because if you're making video content, if you're making audio content, if you are making content, period, you can monetize. It's just according on how you do it. But you got to quit thinking and following the guru, the tips and tricks. That's not going to work. 2025 and beyond those days is numbered and over with. All right. So you got to think, what transformation will your audience get from your consistently showing up content? Make your promise clear and bold. All right. You got to be clear and bold on what you're going to do. I want to help solopreneurs build a one-person empire through the knowledge that they already have in their head. Doesn't get any clearer than that. And it's bold. One-person empire. Mostly everybody's out here building teams. You want to build a one-person empire. Number 5, check this out. Podcast formats. Now, here's where it can get to where your discretion makes or breaks you. Now we're going to get a little tactical. Now, I told you in the last section, we're not going to talk about tactics. This is where you get tactical. What's your format? So basically, are you going to be a simple structure of consistent content? Do you need to have a fancy production set? No, just be a person who is repeatable, reliable, and consistently showing up and giving the people the value that they need to, no matter what it is your niche is. Now, some of the formats that you could think about is you got solopreneurs, which is what I do, but I'm also a hybrid because I will be doing my new portion of the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast. Let's talk about it. Section of the podcast where we're going to have some guest episodes. Now, make sure you understand this. How long is your podcast going to be? Is it going to be 25 minutes? Is it going to be 35 minutes longer? It doesn't make a difference. You determine how you want to be. Now, I will give you this one pro tip, though. If you decide that you're going to go under 20 minutes, you might consider doing a few episodes a week. Just to get it out there. But once you start doing a few episodes a week, you got to constantly keep doing it. So that's where the work comes in at, all right? And then last but not least, you want to make sure you got a hook, a main story, some quick tips, and some reflections, and then a perfect, bold, straight to the point CTA, which is a call to action. Now, when you want to talk some other things that you need to make sure that you have with your podcast, you got to make sure that you have some bonus segments like Tools of the Week, Chronicle Confessions, and Ask Authority questions to me. Like for me, it's Ask Anthony Q&A sessions. And that's doing my school community, which if you're here, you need to make sure you jump on those school calls. Any question that you want to ask can be answered. All right. And if I don't have the answer, I sure enough will make sure we get the answer. All right. Now, number 6 in this training is you have to understand this. Publishing your schedule. Your publishing schedule. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Publishing schedule. If it's not scheduled, it doesn't exist. So here's what's crazy. I record 4 episodes probably a week. All right. I will be recording May's podcast, 4 episodes probably next week so I can focus on running the other portion of my business, which is the teaching and helping other podcasters get started. Now, I have a core content creation operation system that I like to follow. We'll talk about that in another training. But right now, what it is you have to be able to, you're either going to publish weekly. If you're going to publish weekly, publish on a day, pick a date and make sure you stick to that day. People will look for that information on that specific day if they get accustomed to you posting on that day. Okay. Now, here's one thing you can do. You can have Monday could be your full episodes, which is what I do. But by Tuesday through Friday, I got shorts, reels, TikToks. Broken down, I use Opus Clip. If you want to get in on some Opus Clip, I will have a resource for you to join Opus Clip because I'm telling you, man, that helps you save a lot of time. Listen, being in the business as an entrepreneur, you want to be financially stable, but you want that time to spend with your family, your wife, your kids, travel the world, but still be able to do the things that you do in less time. So that's the whole purpose of what we do. All right. So your podcast is make sure make your podcast your core content. Everything should be orbited around the podcast. And that's like you building your flywheel. Podcast and every section should have something that's built around it. Now, last but not least, the checklist. We're going to put the checklist down inside the community just as well. To make it easy, I created this checklist just for this. Just to help you get through the roadmap, to help you take away some of the frustration of not knowing. And we're going to define goals in the audience. We're going to choose a podcast name and some artwork. We're going to outline the first 10 episodes. We're going to record a trailer and episode number 1. We're going to submit to Spotify and Apple. We're going to plan and launch our content. And we're going to promote like crazy. That's simple, right? But there's some technical things in there that you just don't know. This is just a basic get started. And one of the main things that we talked about is launching the 10. Now think about this. So that's 3 months worth of podcasts, and you already got situated. We're good to go. Okay. Now, here's your next step. Download the checklist and the roadmap below. If you haven't already, join the Amplified Podcasters Academy community so you can get some of this knowledge, this tutelage, and then post in the group. We want to make sure when you're posting, post that I'm launching my podcast so we can support you. The one thing that this community is going to be about is support. We are going to support everyone in their endeavors and whatever there is that they're doing. All right. We're not here to judge. The only way that you grow is when you start building a tribe. And that tribe, see, here's where a lot of people want to gatekeep. Okay. They want to gatekeep. If I have a podcast and I'm talking about solopreneurship, and let's say John over here has a podcast about DJing, his followers about DJing, my followers are about how to start their business as, start a podcast business, right? When these two cross, you have to realize his audience is now hearing what I'm talking about. My audience is hearing what John's talking about. I might pick up 10 of the 400 or 500 he has. Those 10 might have something else. There is a trickle effect to this game. Where we fall short is this. We fall short because everybody wants to gatekeep. There's no more gatekeeping, man. The rich get rich because they get in rooms and meetings and they share ideas and they figure out, well, if I do this, if I scratch your back, you best scratch my back, or I'm gonna pull the plug on that. That's how it's done. So honestly, that's what you need to do. Now, piece of advice before we get out of here. Please do not look for perfection when you start. Just start. Launch it messy. Launch it smart. Launch. That's all you need to do is you really just need to launch. Period. And once you launch, over time, you'll get comfortable and you'll want to start growing and you'll see some of the mistakes. I go back and listen to mine every time. And once I go back and listen to mine every time, I notice that I make mistakes in certain things that I do and I fix them. All right. So that's it for this particular training. Again, down below, don't forget to join the Amplified Podcasters community if you're not a member. And I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all, man. Next lesson should be a good one. All right. We out of here. Peace.